Hi, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Armchair Keepers of Arcane Secrets. Bob, you think in post you could put a little echo on that?
I'll try. No promises.
Arcane. No, what is it? Armchair.
Keeper.
A little like, ooh. Of
That's
course,
about as good as special effects as you're getting, people.
that's what, lo-fi is the way we roll. I'm Matt Ryan. This is Bob Geis. We're going to get right into the shit because we're getting close, Bob.
Yes, some closer than others.
So I thought about this. Some people, I bet the majority of people, when they play, they get together weekly or bi-weekly and they run masks or whatever they're running, and they just run it to however long it takes, right? If it takes 12 weeks to get through Egypt, it takes 12 weeks to get through Egypt. It's part of their it's baked into their hobby.
Yep.
That they don't have like a heart out.
Right.
And that's the difference with me. I don't want to spend 12 weeks in Egypt.
Right. Right. Well, no, absolutely.
I want to move the thing along. I want to hit the high points.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes I might do that to the detriment of the characters.
Sure. Yeah. No, I get it. This has been helpful for me to push my players along because I'm one that will let the scenes play, right? I will let them play out. And that was evident in England, I think, less so than in Cairo, where they zip through things, right? Shanghai has been more challenging. I think that there's a couple things at play there. One, we hit the holidays, which is always scheduling tricky. Then, it's always hard to kind of get restarted after the holidays. And so I've had fewer sessions than I would have liked, right?
Yeah.
But the good news is I did have a session last night. Oh, did I have a session last night?
And you're dying to tell me about it.
I am. So I'm getting right into it.
All right. Without any further ado, folks, here it is, the recap of what we hope is the last session of Shanghai. Go, Bob.
So again, Shanghai, when we left off, my players were at the top of the caldera looking down into the whole scene of what was, playing out there in Grey Dragon Island. And so we were supposed to play last week, but a couple of guys canceled. And okay, let's cancel the session because I want everybody to be there. And fortunately, last night, everyone was there. Full table, so everyone could really participate in the shenanigans, right? And so there they all are looking down and, using the great map that you created, I was really able to set this
big map. Now, is that on your table or can you hold that up for us?
I can't. It was on my table, but it's now not off my table. I'm cleaning things up, trying to be tidy.
It's keeper. In the bin, right? That you used it once and then you just threw it in the bin.
I did indeed, because I have the digital versions and I can recreate that thing at will, right? And again, it was and it was great. I found in my cleanup these little D&D minis. So I put little D&D minis out there to represent the major players. Now, again, I made it very, very clear this is not a tactical combat. We're not moving and doing all the tactical stuff.
Well, except you've got minis and you've got a grid. So, but go ahead.
Sure. But again, that's really where it began and ended, right? Again, I put it out there and it said these are where the major players are, right? Just so when they got there, they could orient themselves and, there was no ambiguity as to what was what, even though I did change where they started because I didn't like where they started. So I waved my hand.
Map. You didn't like the beginning location.
Yeah, because again, you had the stairs on one side and, I had them come up on the other side, and I just didn't like that because logistically they would have to run around the stairs and it would just be boring, right? So again, I want to cut out the fluff, right? So I started them on the stairs, and in my version, the stairs went from the top all the way to the bottom, just for convenience sake, right? So they got started.
There was no cave to thread through.
There was a cave that they could have gone through, but they climbed up the top. They went over the top to look down.
Yeah.
So I wanted the stairs from to easily get down. I didn't have to fool with rappelling and all that nonsense, right? So there they were with the firm action team up there, and so they began sneaking down the stairs because again, this is a work site here. This is a work site down there in the caldera. We got the people, the enslaved victims of this with the little Shoggoth headdress things, right? The little things on their head, and we got the deep ones with the little slime, thing that they can use to control these people, right? And so that was happening, and on the other side was Ho Fong, who was kind of leading a little prayer meeting for some of the crazy villagers there, and so he was doing his thing, and then we have people working on the rocket. So a lot of stuff was going on.
Wait, you put Ho Fang right in the
yes,
you threw it all right in the pot. It was a stew. It was a Shanghai stew.
It was a Shanghai stew. It was a literal hot pot of fantastic things. So they crept in and they got down to the surface, and then all hell broke loose, right? So some of my guys, they did some really clever things, which I did not, I'd read and said, well, they'll never do that. There was at least two, they'll never do that they did. One was when they saw the guys working on the rocket, they saw the guys with the little backpacks, and the acetylene
soldering guns, whatever, yeah.
And so they said, oh, well, we want some of that action immediately. They jumped on that immediately. So they ran down to the box, or to where the box of tools were, and they began sorting through there. And in the text, it says there's a bunch of those things. Like, okay, there's a bunch of them. So they outfitted them, a couple of them outfitted themselves with the things, right? And one guy became very interested in the calm pool over to the side. There's the calm pool and the bubbling pool. The bubbling pool is where they're getting the goop that they put into the magnet.
The calm pool is that's the secret entrance.
Yes. And so they everybody kind of spreads out. We have some that are going over towards the deep one conductor of the enslaved villagers.
His name is Billy.
Is it really? I didn't give him a name, and I was very, very I was very vague in my description of what these things. I never said these are deep ones, right? So I think some of the players knew what they were, some of the players didn't know what they were, but it was all very strange, right? And one guy stayed up at top. My sniper guy stayed up at the top of the caldera. That's very important, right? So the other group goes down and they confront the deep one who has the blob, right? And my guys held on to the lightning guns that they got from Houston, right? So
from your boat battle, they picked up the lightning gun. Wow, your dudes are healed. They're well healed.
Well, yeah. So they had two lightning guns, one of which only had 4 charges, right? And so my guy with that cranked it all the way up, used 4 charges or whatever, and blasted the giant deep one and effectively one-shotted him, right? Again, luck was spent like it was going out of style in this session. Of course.
Now, are they spending luck in combat?
Oh, yeah. You can do that. I made that rule change. So they zapped the guy, and then one of my guys immediately became obsessed with getting the goo, right? He wanted the goo, mechanism, right, to use it. It's like, well, that was one thing I never thought that would happen.
I never saw that coming. So he wants to control the slaves.
Yes. Well, he wants to control that. He wants to control that which is controlling them, right? Whoa. So he goes over and does that. Now, my sniper guy at the top of the caldera takes aim at Ho Fung and shoots him. And not quite dead, but he's using a 30-06, and he doesn't crit or anything, but that still does a ton of damage. So it blows his leg off, right? It blows his leg off. So he falls down, and there's blood. I describe it as a geyser of blood, just, an inordinate amount of that, right? And so then, that shot starts everything. Then the deep one gets killed. Then my other guys begin running over and trying to climb up the stanchions and the gantries to go up there and deal with that. They're going to cut through the gantries and, cause the rocket to fall, right? That's their plan. And so my other guys,
they've got the cutting torches. That's a good plan. That's a good plan.
And so my other guy is down there, and he's kind of fending off the deep ones who are trying to climb up and get them, right? And so he's over by the calm pool. He almost gets bushwhacked by one of them that's coming out of the calm pool, but he fights it off. A lot of stuff is going on. So, all right. I'll get back to Ho Fong, the geyser of blood. And I tell the guy that form is beginning to, or a figure is beginning to form out of this geyser of blood, right? And it does this, and it is a young woman with a fan over her face. Yes,
Oh,
yes.
oh.
And so, yes, and so, well, he immediately, as he would,
You just came up with that. You hadn't planned that.
I don't know, it was kind of in my head. Um,
Okay.
and so, but I wanted, I don't know where it came from. I never wrote it down, but it did in my brain. It was there, right? So he shoots again and doesn't do like he succeeds, but in a minor way. But how I describe it is that the bullet hits the fan and knocks the fan away, right? At which point, this beautiful young woman is revealed to be the bloated woman, right?
And changes, right? Grows all
Yes,
huge and
yes,
tentacly.
yes. And again, so, and then, because again, that's an aspect of Nyarlathotep, he can bend a lot of rules. He immediately, essentially, teleports, gates, jumps, whatever, from from the little shrine up to right there beside the sniper, right? So
Who does? Who does?
the bloated woman.
Oh,
So
nice.
it goes right in front of him, and it's there, and that's when he takes the sanity loss, right? That's when he takes the sanity loss, and he failed to sand, lost 9 sanity, right? 9. So it was a lot, but again, this guy has never had a lot of sanity, and he's lost 9, and he is at 50% of his sanity. He has 9 sanity left. 9 sanity left. So and he just completely freezes, and she grabs him, right, and begins sucking his brain, because again, it has the attack where it drains intelligence. And she's just like, smothering him in her bulk. It was great, right? So that's happening up there. Down at the bottom, the guy finally gets to the Shoggoth thing. He gets, well, okay, I guess spoil it. He gets to the blob thing, and he puts his hands in it, and there's rules about it. So basically, I had him make a power roll to seize control of the Shoggoth, right? Okay, so and if the Shoggoth doesn't have a great amount of power, so he was able to do it. He got control of it. But it comes with a pretty significant sand loss when you meld minds with this thing. And this guy is another one who doesn't have a lot of sanity, right? And so he gets control, but he loses his sanity and just seizes up, and it has like basically a seizure on the ground as he's trying to get his mind wrapped around this thing. So combat's going on. My guys are scaling the stanchions, getting up there, fighting off the deep ones that are trying to get them. It's bedlam. So
yeah,
this goes
it sounds
on.
wild. It sounds wild.
It's happening. It's fantastic. It's a great scene. Lots of chaos. So my guy up there is getting his brain sucked out. That happens for a few rounds. The other guy eventually comes to, right? He comes to himself, and now he has control of this entity. He doesn't know what it is, and I never say what it is, but he has control of it, right? But he's also very, very, very insane. And this is the guy. Okay, so the player, and the character. The player is a law student, right? And he's playing a character who's a lawyer, right? So in his brain, he is envisioning all of this as some sort of court proceeding, right? And so he is now, and how he is protecting his clients being the other player characters. So he says that he is going to, and he calls the entity. He hasn't figured out yet that there is a big entity. He still thinks it's the little blobs that are on top of the fallen humans, right? So he's going to use his summer interns, as he calls them, to protect his clients, right? And that's his command, right? And so these little blobs, go off and try to, and begin circling the feet. I describe them as little blobs, right? Then on the other side, at the calm pool, right? Something's happening. Now, my guys, just to kind of orient you, they were going up one side of the rocket, plans to cut those and then flee via the other stanchions as the rocket collapses. Right.
That was their plan.
That was their plan. Right. Say they were doing that. They really hadn't even got started on the cutting. Right. When he takes control of the Shoggoth, of the summer interns. Right.
Sure. Sure.
Then he does all that, and out of the calm pool comes a Shoggoth. Right, a fully, ready for action Shoggoth, and it just they all see it, and a Shoggoth has a D20 sanity loss.
I was just gonna say,
and they didn't do well, right? And so he lost. He saw it, lost a ton of sanity. The character who was playing Yalisha saw it, lost 18 sanity, right? This is the second time that character has lost 18 sanity, right? She lost it when she read the Al-Azif, and she lost it when she saw Shoggoth. So she is so far gone. More on that later. And so she runs off. And again, I'm using the condensed Matt Ryan sanity rules, which is fight, faint, fight, freeze, faint, and flee, right? Just to keep things going, because again,
just to keep it simple, you roll a d4. Now I do it the other way. So if they roll, I make it more lethal the higher the number is. But continue.
Okay. Yeah. So she flees. She starts running away. Okay. So back up to the top of the caldera with the embrace, right? This character finally, it comes out of his insane state, but is still in the embrace of the bloated woman, right? Who's this massive entity, right? And so he's trying to, can I push? Can I like get my feet on the ground and push her off the? No, you're not even on the ground. She's clutching you, and you're off the ground. So he says, all right, this is what I want to do. I want to take my gun and, yep. And I loved it, right? So I let him do it. And I told him that he could make an attack roll with advantage to do that. And what I was hoping is that he would get a crit, right? Because if he got a crit, it would effectively, kill the bloated woman, which again doesn't really do anything other than bring in the massive horned monster form of Naflatef. But he didn't. He didn't do that. He did, a lot of damage, and so that character is dispatched, right? So he did that, went out with blaze of glory, doing significant damage to this entity, and going out on his own terms. And then the Shoggoth comes rolling out of the calm pool and goes over and begins ripping just chaos. Ripping the workers, the deep ones, anyone who's on the stanchions are all being torn to shreds. My guys who were going over, that was their exit route. They turned around, they run back down. And again, so the entire time as this Shoggoth's doing it, it's not doing it subtly, right? The rocket is shaking and flailing around. So, all right, everybody who's up there, make dexterity checks. Some do, some don't. So one guy failed, all right? And so, all right, you're dangling on. And so I told the other two, all right, you can go save Walter, or you can flee. One guy said, I'm fleeing.
Of course. I've got those players. We share players.
Yeah, exactly. And the other guy said, I'm going to go back for him. I was like, okay, make a strength check to get him up. This guy's playing Archibald, one of the Pregens, very strong character, pulls him up. All right. And then I said, all right. And he said, I'm going to do a fireman's carry and carry him off there. It's like, okay, you can do that, but you're going to roll dexterity with disadvantage. And I thought, two characters dead right here. And he made his roll, right?
Well,
he made his roll.
There you go. And the table's screaming, right?
Exactly.
It's like a home run. It's like home run, bases loaded.
Yes. And so he gets away. Again, at this point, the rocket is teetering under the assault of the Shoggoth. And they run, they flee, and I let him get away. With the exception of the one character that died. The sanity situation is grim. The one character who has control of the Shoggoth at this point has 4 sanity.
0-4.
0-4, yes. And so they run out, and they have that moment to breathe, and he still has this thing. And is reluctant to surrender control. So I tell him,
he wants to put that in his portable hole and carry it with him forever.
Yeah, he wants to have this, and it's like that's not going to happen.
Right.
But because again, that thing eats your brain, man. I mean, there's a serious sanity drain. So I gave him a last chance. Okay, are you going to keep this thing, or are you going to get rid of it? And I must have been the tone of my voice, because he said, all right, I'm going to get rid of it. Because he would have gone insane. So he makes the power check to relinquish control. I'm playing a little fast and loose with those rules, but again, I just say he put the slime down and said, "Don't touch that."
Yeah, sure.
And then, that was the wrap up. That was the thing. So we had one character who died of his own accord up there, heroic sacrifice.
Yeah,
the others
blaze of glory.
Are banged up. mostly mentally, right? Mostly mentally at this age. Sanity is definitely much more of a concern for them than hit points.
That's cool.
But they get away. They defeated. They've destroyed the rocket. They've killed Ho Fong. And what I had them do, or what I had happen was Sir Aubrey Penhew.
I was just going to ask.
Yep. He comes out of his Egyptian room, right? Looks at the chaos, the madness that's going on, and turns around and goes back inside, right? Because again, in my scenario, there is a gate from there to back to Shanghai, right? And so they got on, they caught on to it instantly. They caught on to it instantly, but they did nothing about it, right? It's like, all right, so and that was before they had fled, right? They were still there in the action. So it's like, do you want to? And so they had an opportunity. They could have chosen to pursue him, but they didn't. They just fled, right? They just fled.
They dealt with the rocket.
They dealt with the rocket. And so now he will have gone back to Shanghai. He will have gone back to Shanghai, and they will chase him. They will chase him, not chase rules chase him, but they will chase him to Kenya, right? That's the next stage. They will chase him to Kenya.
They'll follow him to Kenya. So you will seed a trail to Kenya.
But wait, there's more. All right? There's more. Okay, so remember, Yalisha, the character playing Yalisha, thinks that she is Nitocris, right? Because of that earlier insanity. She thinks she's Nitocris. She also lost a ton of sanity by seeing the Shoggoth and fled before anybody else fled up the stairs. Who's on the stairs? The bloated woman, right? The bloated woman. And so, there was a great deal of concern. What's going to happen with that? Of course, I said nothing, right? Because what's going to have happened is the bloated woman, Nyarlathotep, is going to have told Nitocris that she is the handmaid of Nyarlathotep. And she needs to be present in Kenya for the birth of the spawn. So that character...
So because I was going to ask, have you set sights on Kenya? And you have, in two different ways.
Yeah. So that player will eat that up.
Yeah.
He will love that. And he will completely play into that. And it's going to make the end of the game very interesting. Because, again, he is definitely one of the ones that would, in a heartbeat, betray the rest of the party for this to play that out.
So so you've set the motivation not only for them to go to Kenya, but for them to be at the birth of the spawn of Nyarlathotep.
Yes.
That's well done. That's a nice plant right there.
It's going to be, it'll make the ending impactful, right? A powerful ending with some spills and chills along the way, right?
And that's a nice ending. That's a nice ending. And actually, folks, that's most of the episode. Well, look at it.
It was a great session.
It sounds like a great session. I don't think I've really got much to report, Bob, since the last episode because I haven't played.
Yep.
So we're in the Ithaca team. They've talked to Bundari. And they've gone back to their hotel on the night of the new moon. There will be some shenanigans.
Okay.
And we're playing tonight.
Okay.
Where's my So my team is they're going to do the ritual of light and darkness on the mountain of the Black Wind.
Yep.
That's their plan. And they know they found out that it's going to take about 6 days to safari there.
Okay.
And they know when they have to do it on the night of the full moon, and they know they have to do it all night long.
Yep.
So I made a little calendar. I drew little boxes, in my notebook, because we've got one player that has a major wound and is spending his first week in the hospital in Nairobi. So tonight's session is going to be a kind of a calendar. The beginning will be a calendar thing where we've got these days to get through. And what are you going to do? And I've been thinking, there's going to be 6 days of safari that I really want to lead into. There's going to be 3 days of safari going through the grasslands, and then 3 days of safari going through the jungle. And I'm going to use every safari trope that I can remember.
Yeah, great.
And my plan is to make each day more creepy than the previous because my team is doing well with sanity.
Okay.
They've kind of surfed the crest of sanity in about the 50 threshold.
Yeah.
And then after Shanghai, because I put Houston in there were huge sanity rewards.
Oh yeah.
They killed Ho Fang, they killed Houston, they killed Penhu, they blew up the rocket. I mean, there was like huge sanity returns. So
Hmm.
I'm gonna try to whittle that down
Yeah.
each day, just with weird shit,
Yep.
which I have
Yep.
not come up with all the weird shit. But we're not playing until this evening, so I
Sure.
got time, right?
You got time. Yeah.
It's bubbling in the cauldron. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, and then I don't quite know. I might do it a little heavy-handed. I don't know how I'm going to. They have no interest in seeing the spawn. They haven't talked about that.
Hmm.
Their sights are set on going to the mountain and doing the ritual.
Sure. Sure.
Um,
Yeah, it's a great scene. You got to uh, again, it just popped in my head of a rescue mission to try to save Alicia Masters. Because again, that
oh,
would be great.
well, I have stuck a former. Remember, we had the character that did the spell, and a dimension shambler came
Yeah.
and pinched him.
Yeah.
That character is in the Great Chamber. Remember,
Oh yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
cult has got all
Yeah,
of
yeah,
these
yeah.
victims they're ready to sacrifice.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
somehow he's in there, and I'm going to convey that information tonight that they could go save him.
Nice. Yeah.
I might. One of the thoughts that I had, the reason I don't like it is because it's super heavy-handed. Is that I might creep them out through the safari, do the best that I can. I'm gonna play it that the cult doesn't necessarily know they're coming
Hmm.
at
Hmm.
at the beginning of it. I've got the crazy Indian witch in Nairobi that
Hmm.
can haunt them with fire vampires or whatever those things are called.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I don't know how heavy I want to lean into that
Awesome.
because
No.
we did that. We might do some of that. I don't quite know. What I'm thinking is I want to go through the ritual because they've got to cast this spell
Yeah.
every hour, and Kenya's on the equator, right? So
Yeah.
there's like how many hours of night? 12. I think
Sure. Oh my
sun
gosh.
goes down at 6 and it comes up at 6.
Yeah.
So that's 12 hours that they have to cast this spell successfully each slot,
Hmm.
and
Wow.
each successful cast ultimately drains 5 power from the participant.
Oh wow. All right.
So if what's 5 times 12?
Yeah, exactly. Jeez. So
That's
that's significant.
60.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So if somebody casts the spell in that first hour and then continues to chant for 12 hours, when it ends, they're going to lose 60 points of power permanently.
Sacrifices must be made. No, that's
So I
great.
kind of want to do that countdown clock
Yeah, yeah.
because that's a great reveal. So I'm almost thinking of letting them do that. I really
Mhm.
hope that spell succeeds because
Yeah,
the spell will stop Nyarlathotep, but it won't necessarily stop the spawn.
yeah.
So my thought is it would be nice if that spell succeeds. And essentially they've won. They've stopped
Yeah.
Nyarlathotep. But then end the session. Maybe I will end the session with the spell working, the sun coming up, and them noticing that they're surrounded by hundreds of cultists.
Okay.
And then it's just a little heavy-handed. And then maybe the cultists will lead them all.
Oh, I see.
For the final session, maybe they will all kind of be captives and brought into the final chamber.
Maybe
You
think about.
following me? Wait, it's a
Yeah, I
little
do.
Hoto-y. That's kind of
Well,
how Hoto ended.
I would. You could spin it a little bit, and rather than being captured and led, maybe they're herded, right? Because again, the number of cultists who are there for the birth of the spawn don't give them an easy out.
But there's no place to hide.
There's no place to hide, and so it's like, well, they just kind of have to, try in trying to avoid them, they go where you want them to go. So they're not captured, but they go with the flow, and the flow takes them where you want them, right?
Because nobody likes to be captured. No player likes to have a captured and
No celebrity
PC.
likes to be captured either.
You have a story about that
I
involves
do.
one of my maps.
Yes, it does. It does.
Hey, speaking of here, we're going long. Speaking of one of my maps, look what I've got here, Bob.
Let me see. Let me see.
This is gonna stand up. So this is a proof, a preprint proof, huge, of the outskirts of Arkham.
Yeah.
I just found this as I was going through a reference box today because I'm working on another fake New England town layout. That's all I'm going to say right now.
Fantastic.
And I like everything. So that means there's going to be another outskirts map and there's going to be another regional map, and I want it all to tie in, right?
Nice.
So I'm looking for some, and I found this, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this to Chaosium Con, and maybe I will give this to a fan that knows the secret code word, which will be booger. I don't know what the secret code.
That's fantastic.
That's an old WKRP joke right there. That's an Easter egg for you WKRP fans.
That's right.
Booger.
You can't say booger on the air.
You can't say booger on the air. All right. I just did.
We break a lot of rules here at Armchair Keepers.
The Armchair Keepers we're gonna be at Chaosium Con US, which is in April. It's sometime in April. We're gonna be running games. Bob's got a load that he's gonna run. I've got a load that I'm gonna run, and then I'm gonna be hanging out. And we're gonna have some kind of little have some kind of seminar. So get your tickets for Chaosium Con US. And is there any more news, Bob?
I think we're good. I'll be at GaryCon next month in March.
Bob's going to be at GaryCon.
Yep, the whole YouTube and Cthulhu crew will be there. We're running 20-some events there.
20-some events. So
and demos.
If you go get your picture and send a picture, if you want that map, the files of that map that I made for Bob, go ahead and send us an email. You know, we do. Arcane Keepers does have an email.
It does?
Well, because we've got a
that's
Gmail.
Right. That's right. I set it up.
You made it. So what's the email? When you edit this, put the email address in the show notes. And folks, if you send us an email that says, I want that fucking map, then I will send you the PDF. It's a PDF. It's a simple 11 by 17 printout. And then you too can
tape it together and have your own map.
Bob, that was a great session. Thank you for the recounting.
Absolutely. And remember, friends, like and subscribe. Share this video with your compadres.
That's right. You can make fake accounts, just like the Russians do.
Just like the Russians do. And if you have nothing else to do, you can just view this video again and again and again and again and again.
Just to jack our numbers.
That's right.
That's right.
All right.
Bob,
thank you all.